My name is Nick Stevens. I'm Senior Technician with Frog Environmental, and I'm here to talk about how we use combinations of flock mats and silt mats to provide in-ditch treatment on construction sites. Typically, you will have a number of ditches, interceptor ditches, that are used to collect surface water off your construction site. This will often be contain a lot of suspended material and be high in turbidity. And what we're doing is we're providing some system by where you can reduce the amount of turbidity in the water before it goes off site. Typically, we would advise that all ditches on a site are lined in some respect. That isn't just to stop entrainment of the material, it's also to protect the structure of your ditch. If your ditch starts collapsing, you're going to actually create more of a source of silt. So we have a number of different items, products that we're going to use for this treatment system. This is a silt mat. This is a coir type net structure. It's also got coir pith inside and a hessian back. This doesn't have any form of chemical treatment. It is simply for capturing particulate material. We have a flock mat. Again, coir net structure with a pith inside. This does have a treatment on it. The treatment allows the finer silt to flocculate, and this will form bigger particles that are easier to sink out and capture. We then have something called a wattle. This is purely to hold back the water, create pools and slow down the flow. At the end of the day, when you're treating silt on construction site, the way to do it is to firstly slow things down. If you need a little bit more help to do that, then you add chemicals. And if you've still got a problem, you slow it down even more, or you put some more chemicals with it. And you do it in an iterative process. So you're only using the minimum amount of chemicals you need to achieve the clean water. Within this system that we're providing, we typically have what's called a silt treatment unit, and this will consist of 3 silt mats, and these are overlapped like a roof tile. If you take the border of the silt mat, that's approximately 10 centimeters. You move the silt mat so that it just overlaps by 10 centimeters. Again, another silt mat. That's your 3 silt mats. Do the same with the flock mat. Again, 10 centimeter overlap. We'd use this in combination with a wattle. Again, that is something that allows the backing up and slowing down of water. Essentially, you're pulling the water up over your flock mats. So we've got treatment, slowing down. Another feature, slowing down. The bigger particles are formed, come down, and they are caught in the silt mats behind this. If your water is not quite clean enough for what you need, you can just reproduce this whole system, this unit, downstream or upstream. The flock mats, when you put them in, it's best to leave them folded until the last minute. Take one edge, open them out, and that way you don't get yourself, especially if it's raining, you don't have the flocculants transferring onto your clothes. So, as before, dirty water comes in, picks up some of the chemicals, forms bigger particles, and then we are slowing things down. The wattle creates a pooling feature. We're slowing the water down and backing it up on the mats. The silt mats are purely there to capture the particulates that we've just produced. To stop this all shifting, once we put it in, we can use a number of different ways, but the ways that we generally advise are to use engineering pins. And we do this on the leading edge of each mat. Alternative, if you're running on a line or something like that, you could use sandbags. Again, picking up the leading edge. You can use wooden stakes, bio pegs, the general things. It's just the engineering pegs work really well. And you do that again, leading edge of each one. The other thing you can do with the wattle, drive the pin straight through the wattle. Or again, take the bags, just hold it in place. As you can tell, it doesn't take very long to put in some form of treatment very quickly. So in summary, we always recommend that you line a ditch. So even if you manage to clean the water, you don't exactly want it going just downstream and then picking up more silt and becoming dirty again. If you have a bit of a gradient going, or you've got too much of a gradient, you want to be putting bunds in. You want, again, all of this relies on slowing the water down. Those bunds can be the wattle features, they could be rock checks, they can be sandbag bunds, there can be a number of different ways of doing that, but essentially it's trying to slow things down. When you're putting these mats in, like I said, 10 centimetre overlap between each mat. So on the silt mats, it's already got a border on it, so that makes it quite easy. But on the flat mats, just give it about 10 centimetres overlap, and you layer them like a roof tile, essentially. The main thing you've got to, when you install these systems, is you want to be constantly monitoring them. Generally, you'll see visually that something's not working. If you've set something up and there's silty water going off the bottom after you've set it up and it's been working previously, you start to question whether the mats have been exhausted. They'll become exhausted when the flocculants actually run out, or when there's too much silt on top of the mats, restricting the ability of the water to interact directly with the chemicals. Generally, if there's loads of silt on top, it's not going to work. But the other thing is that you should be daily checking these anyway. And like I said, if you start to see a decrease in performance, you can then start questioning whether you need to change this or not. If you've set this up with multiple units properly, you should have dirty water, cleaner water, and getting cleaner as you progress down the treatment channel. If you come back the next day and you see silt throughout the whole system, something's not working. Or you've got more silt coming into the treatment system. Both of those you have to address directly. So in terms of working with these products, the mats come in around 14 kilograms in their dry state. When they're loaded and they're wet, you could be talking of somewhere in the region of 80 kilos, which is far more than you should be lifting on your own. Generally, remove the items that are restraining the mat or holding it in position. And what I generally do is fold one side over. Remember, these will be lagged and really heavy. I take a strop under one side, roll this one, pick it up from the other side, connect the strop together or put a lark's foot through and get a machine to lift it out. That's my typical way of refreshing or refurbishing a ditch. When these are all loaded up, one of the big questions we have is how to dispose of them. They can be disposed in your normal waste stream, but they can also be used around the site. Like they may actually It may be loaded with silt, but actually there's nothing to say that I can't take a mat, put it on the side of my ditch, and that will actually help to stabilise that area of loose ground. The same as if you have a bund feature or a bank or something like that, you can actually take the mats and reuse them.